when I started getting into personal development a little over 10 years ago, um, I just started putting little post-it notes, just saying affirmations, sharing goals, and just kind of put them all over my mirror. And so it was just always there in every moment that I was looking, and it was just a good reminder. And so the mirror technique is like a next level. As great as it is to talk about affirmations, it's another, it's still an external. It's still
Mhm.
outside of self. It's still put the goals outside of me. The mirror technique is really a deep dive into an authentic understanding, having the first real authentic conversation with myself through the mirror technique. And that was really, really difficult.
For me, it was one of the first ways I got up close and personal with myself.
Yeah.
Because as you're saying, we look in the mirror, right? But what I found was I looked in the mirror, but I didn't look at myself. I looked at the surface level. And what the mirror technique does is it kind of forces you to look deep within yourself and then acknowledge yourself. And it's not always easy to take that second step, right? Looking at your surface is one thing, but then that's where the inner critic comes in and starts judging everything. Oh, this is my personal one, and I wrote about it in the book, right? My hair looks like a troll doll. My hair has a life of its own. It really honestly does. And people laugh at me all the time, but any person who has curly hair knows what I'm talking about. It will have days where I want it to go one way and it's like, you think, and it goes 15 other ways. And so I just gave up at a certain point and was like, okay, fine, have a personality all your own, look like a troll doll, just shake me one way or the other and it'll go pshik. And my inner critic latched onto that. And I just thought, I'll never have that beautiful hair that so many other people do. And it was comparison. So every time I looked in the mirror, it was that comparison. My hair just looks awful. And then it would spiral. Well, if my hair looks awful, then so does this or that, and some other part that I would start judging. And I have a feeling most people know what I'm talking about because I have yet to have a client or a friend or somebody that I've been around that hasn't been like, oh, yeah, I do that. Now, there might be that person, and if you're that person, please send us a message that you've never looked in the mirror and had a harsh judgment about yourself, and then had a cascading effect of harsh judgment about yourself. But what this mirror technique does is it asks you to step in front of that mirror. And even if you have a harsh judgment, still take the time to connect with your own eyes. Like, look deeply into your own eyes. That's step one. Don't focus on the troll doll hair. Don't focus on any other part. Focus on your eyes. Deeply, soulfully connected. And stay there. If you can, stay there for up to a minute. But if 3 seconds, 5 seconds is all you got in you the first time, do it because that's you connecting with your inner champion.
Mm.
Then what do? Because you've done this dance a few times now.
Well, yeah, as you said, you keep doing that until you can get to at least a minute or maybe even 2 minutes. I know my first time I was like, I couldn't even look. How many times I looked in the mirror and not looked into my own eyes. That was pretty mind boggling in my experience of it. But once I kind of got to that point and was willing to kind of stare and gaze into my own eyes, the next step was to say something loving about myself. And that was also tough because it was like when you want to give someone a compliment, it really helps, if I'm looking at you and I'm just like, "Oh, yeah, you have really, really nice eyes." It's like, and that, it's like, "Okay,
Yeah,
did
right.
you mean that?" Like, it's
I
like,
don't believe you.
yeah. So when you want to give someone an authentic, genuine compliment, you talk to them, you look into, eyes are the windows to the soul, right? So you look to
Yeah.
them in your eyes, say, "Wow, like, your eyes look beautiful. You have an amazing smile," or "Wow, your hair looks really great," or, it could even be surface level in term, and not from a bad point, but like, "Hey, I really love your shoes that you're wearing today," or, "That dress is super flattering for you." So it's like, it's something, but you wouldn't just like look over somewhere else while you're telling them. You want to engage with them and you want them to know. And so that's the next step, is like, okay, from connecting deeply to yourself, how do I take this next step and actually give myself a compliment? This isn't just like an affirmation. This is a genuine, heartfelt compliment to reprogram away from the judgment and into authentic self love.
Yes. And that is is fueling those superpowers, right? It's acknowledging your inner champion. It's providing that fuel. It's you in many ways being your own person in the chair,
Mm,
because that inner champion needs you first and needs you to step up and say, I see this within myself and I acknowledge it and I embrace it. And so you're looking at yourself as deeply and connected as you would the person you love most in this world, because you should be one of the people you love most in this world. That inner champion in you should be who one of the beings you love most in this world.
mhm. Yeah, not from a narcissistic standpoint, mm, but we're the only ones who are with our own selves for our entire lives, right? And
Yes.
so creating a positive self relationship, which is a big part of this book, is really a key aspect, and your own ability to give love to yourself is either the restriction or the limitation to how much you're able to give to someone else. So if you give an immense amount of love, you're starting to lift that limitation and really allow love to pour through, because it's stemming from you. So that's why it's not a narcissistic love. It's a genuine, authentic love. And the more you have for yourself, the more you can give to others.
Yes. It's like taking the block that you have and just removing it. So it's like, there you go, world. All this love just flowing through me.
Yeah. Like the pitcher of water, right?
Yeah.
I love that one that you shared with me about, a pitcher of water. You can, there's a full pitcher and you can keep pouring it out, pouring out. There's water to give, but eventually it becomes empty and there's nothing else to give. But overflowing pitcher of water is always full and it always has something to give. And so
Yeah.
that's the epitome of an ideal level of self love, when it's so full, you actually have even more to give constantly. Like you are your own, you're not filling yourself from the external and then keep dishing out, and then you have to keep going to the external. That's an empty void. When you are so full from within that it constantly overflows, that's a true healthy self-love relationship.